back to the West Ham World YouTube channel, a show that I'm going to try and do once a week, whether that's at the weekends or, during the week. I'm going to start trying to do some live and interactives with you, even if it's just by myself. Me and Paul did a podcast yesterday. We're still having issues with going live on that. I use YouTube to go live when it's just me. When it's me and Paul, we use an app called Riverside, and we're still having some issues with it. And I miss the live interaction with you guys. I miss that you guys trigger conversation with me and Paul, and then we'll trigger conversation with you in the chat. So it's always good to have you guys there live in the chat to speak to. So I'm going to start doing these ones by myself more regularly. I do the live, obviously, reviews after games, because I think it's better to do it live, because I can, like I say, interact with you guys rather than the pre-records or the, pre-records for the previews. But yeah, Malakas said, "Hey Luke, I had fun trying to get your attention yesterday." Yeah, do you know what it was? The comments wasn't coming through. I need to buy a new laptop. This is being recorded on my phone. And it just seems to work better. But yeah, I need to get a new laptop for next season. I will be purchasing one very soon. I just don't know what one to buy, to be honest. I'm not an expert on laptops. I might have to talk to my IT guy in work and say, like, what's a good laptop for podcasting, video recording. Obviously, I'm not at the level where I can afford, £1,000 Macs and stuff like that for, only using once a week. But yeah, what we got here? Kirk Bay says, sorted your mic out. Like I said, it wasn't my mic. It's something to do with the laptop and the streaming surface. And Mark Watson says, hi. We'll have a little chat about West Ham, guys. Whatever you want to talk about, there ain't many of yous there, but sometimes that's better. That means your comment will definitely get read out. If there's 1,000 in here, which is rare, it's hard to get through all the comments, but with only a few of us, we can have a real, bit more personal conversation. Some news out there today that West Ham are looking at Jacob Ramsey from Villa. Obviously, they do have that PSR thing hanging over their head, and the fact that they didn't get Champions League football makes it even more, likely that they will sell potentially one of their big boys. Bailey, Ramsey, Watkins. You look at, obviously Martinez is going as well. I just can't see us getting him after them, Darren. He's a very good player and exactly what we need. Box to box, powerful midfielder. I really, really like him. Apart from probably Morgan Rogers in that team. Obviously Tielemans is a great player as well, but Morgan Rogers is the top. Ramsey is the sort of level. He would definitely improve our midfield, Jacob Ramsey. Don't know what sort of price it would be, but that was a heavy rumour out there today. I'm gonna do little bits, and then I'm gonna dip in the chat again. So Kirk says, hope we sell to Bedo. And I'd be happy to let Kilman. Go, mate. But I don't think we're going to get anywhere near the 40. That's the problem, that we paid for him. We massively overpaid. When you look at, we probably could have got the two guys that were at Forest that had a fantastic season. We definitely could have had Milenkovic. We were linked with him from Fiorentina for a long time. And what was he? Was he about 12 million? And he's a warrior, an absolute warrior. He would have been better. With the Tobido one, I get it a bit. There are glimpses of top, ball playing, centre back, lovely on the ball, strong. And then there's just these brain fart moments where he ends up looking like it's a Diop, where he steps out too much. He'll go into midfield without any sense of cover behind him. I don't know. How much can you put on that he's next to Kilman? And then how much can you put on Kilman that he's next to Tobido and Mavropanos? With a really strong, I'm talking, and I've been saying it a few weeks now, a Dawson-like, a Ginge-like warrior defender next to him. Would that be the complement that they need? I think that's one thing with our defenders. They are a bit, they're not animals, they're not nasty. They're not in the air winning headers. They're not hurting people. There was that one game where Kilman got into Richarlison a little bit, but we ain't seen enough of it. They're all pretty on the ball, nice on the ball, but they like the fight side of defending. And I think that's what we need. We need a real nasty leader in our defence. What was the other comment? There's another good comment here. Oh, no, I've got to go right back. Thanks for all the comments. Like I say, better that there's less of us because we can have better conversation. Mark says, what do you make of Potter's comment on a smaller squad? I don't mind it, mate. I don't mind it. I think you have less players disappointed then. Even Pepper said it, hasn't he, about Manchester City having a smaller squad. I think you build a better camaraderie in the dressing room with a smaller squad. I think it's easier to build a more consistent 15, 16 or whatever it is on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. As long as you don't leave yourself short, short of a striker, short of a midfielder, and then you're left down to bare bones. And what you've got to take into account as well, a smaller squad, but will still be able to be beefed up with Potts who we all want to see get minutes next season. Will George Urphy be in and around the team next year? Ollie Scholes has obviously pushed his way into the team this year. So a few additions, a few players out. I'm not against a smaller squad. I'm not. Because sometimes you can just have hangers around like Evan Ferguson, Rodriguez for a long part of the season, Danny Ings for a long part of the season, who are on big bucks, but they're not offering anything to the first team. They're unused subs nearly every week. If it's a smaller squad and he's going to use every single player effectively, real good squad management, obviously Somerville coming back as well, then that is better than having an inflated squad where 25% of them you might not even use, mate. I don't know what you think. Let me know that. Again, I'm not some football manager, but I know it myself. Just before I move on, sorry. I know it myself. I did a football tournament with my boys in school. And it was only 7-a-side. And this one tournament, the last one we went, which we did win, to be fair, I took 12. Usually I only take 10. With 10, I know, I can sub 2 or 3 off and everyone's quite happy there's enough minutes. With 12, it was really, really difficult to keep all the boys happy, to give them enough time on the pitch to play. So when the next tournament comes on the 5th of June with my boys, I think I'm taking 9, so 2 subs with the young ones. But yeah, I can understand what he means by a smaller squad. It's easier to keep everyone happy. Everyone's getting minutes. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. McAllister says, any news on Somerville? Is he training yet? Not read anything, mate, but he's going to be like a new signing. I hope for him that he doesn't become like a Winston Reid, like a Cornet, where we know there's a really good player in there, pacey, tricky, got a goal in him. Let's just hope we don't rush him back because I think he's really, really good. Whenever he's played last year, he looked really, really good. And I'm praying that Lewis Guilherme stays as well, but who knows? John says, is Potter Ball next season playing to win or not lose? I think it's a bit of both, mate. It's risk aversive. It's possession to stop the other team scoring rather than possession to try and score a goal. It's all good and well. It's all good and well when you win a game. You go 1-0 up and you can hold the ball and frustrate. But how many times do West Ham make a little mistake at the back, or we're not fully up for the game intensity-wise? We go 1-0 down, and because it's so drilled into them to play safe with the ball and don't take that risky pass on, it becomes a lot harder to switch that mentality to try and win a game. You see it with boxers quite a lot, and football as well, where a team thinks a game's won, a goal happens quickly, or someone will get up from a knockdown, and then that other fighter can't switch back into that aggressive mode. And that's my fear with West Ham. We've got to get more intensity, we've got to get more speed so that we don't go 1-0 down. I'm happy to play possession based football, but with a bit of intensity and a bit of urgency and a adaptability to change into a game. It's all good taking that 20-minute rest, 15-minute rest. You know, the great teams, Barcelona used to do that. But there's got to be spells in a game where there's a 20-minute spell where it's just warm, 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 you know, rock and roll football. And then take your rest wisely. Arne Slot's very good at that. Arne Slot, the possession, Jurgen Klopp football was rock and roll, brilliant football, what we all love to watch. Arteta a couple of years ago, before he went to this real negative style that he plays now, was good to watch. What Arne Slot's done at Liverpool is he's still got the rock and roll, but they will take that time to pass around. You know, there's not wasted passes. It's just getting that balance right. But again, you've got to have good players to do that. What we got here? Michael says, afternoon, Luke, nice to hear your voice. Yeah, it was funny. I did watch it back, but I managed, like to say, luckily the app did record my voice. While not in Europe, smaller squad makes sense. Yeah, and that's a very good point as well, mate. It's very hard to keep everyone happy when we're not in Europe. If we get an offer from Manchester United for Tobido and it's break even or profit even, take it. Yeah, I agree. I think there are some better suited Premier League defenders or better suited defenders out there in Europe that would probably do better for us. I like Tobido. There is a player in there, but maybe not where we are as a club yet. Do we need someone like that? Don't need a big squad with no European football. Would you keep Urfi and Alford or loan back out? Potentially would loan out Alford, but I like Urfi. I really like him. He reminds me of Lanzini, like to a lesser level. Obviously, Lanzini was top, but he's got that like little slight ability. He scores goals. He's quick, and he's an hammer as well. That you can't. We need some more of that in our team. Mark says, I agree, Luke. A smaller squad of quality players won't need to loan out any either and use the academy as cover if needed. Yeah. Also means we don't need to sign so many this summer. Michael says, we need to make better use of transition at the moment. Our players slow. So, mate, we're the slowest in the league, mate. When we used to play the counter-attack at times, even under Moyes, this goes back to Moyes, towards the end, we're trying to play a counter-attacking team with no pace. Like, the whole point of a good counter-attack, like Forest, if you're going to play like that, is you've got to have speed. That's one good thing that when Somerville used to come on, or even start games, he had that speed. And as I always say, it makes the fullbacks think we've got to take another yard back or 2 yards back just to cover. And it just gives you that space to run into, gives other players space. But if you've got no pace, you know, the fullbacks, the centre-backs, they can step up 2 or 3 yards more because they know you're not going to hurt them in behind. That's where, like, one of the famous ones, you remember Zabaleta versus St. Maxim, absolutely killed him, like, and probably ended Zabaleta's career. That's what pace does. He might not have had always the end product, St. Maxim, but that pace, like Adama Traore, pace, it's frightening, it's scary. It gets fans going as well. Like, and that's what, opposition teams want fans to be quiet. They don't want you getting behind them. When we've got pace, if we can add some pace, it just gives you that option. There's pace, there's techie players, and then there's box breakers, Michael says, do you see Guilherme playing a part next season, or does he go and we regret it? I sadly think he goes, mate, but I don't want him to. I think every time I've seen that boy play, barring the one game where he was sort of played it in a weird position and we just didn't play well altogether. I can't remember what game that was. I think it might have been Chelsea away. He's been excellent. He tries to get a shot off every time. His link-up play is excellent. He's arrogant. He's got ego on the ball. He's top player. If we sell him, I do think we will regret it. This boy's only 20 years old. Or 19, isn't it? 19 now? I think, yeah, come over when he was 18, so he's 19. I think there's a really, really, really special player in there. Really special player. And there was times this season where Potter could have got easy wins by just bringing him on. I'm not saying easy win the game. I'm saying easy wins with the fans. when the game's not going well, when we're all down and depressed about the poor football, the results, you bring in a Guilherme, it lifts the fans. You start thinking about positivity. You start thinking about next season, about, oh, how's this guy going to start fitting in? You know, when Joe Cole and Defoe and Rio and all that, you start coming through. You start seeing them in games, 10, 15 minutes, thinking, we've got some top players here. Jack Collinson even, you know, when we started seeing them, it's these little things that Potter doesn't seem to get. I think he'll go because I think he's like Fulkrug, a bit like the Steiden stuff that they want to get rid of. You know, they want to get rid of it. They don't want them to be successful. I hope he stays. But I can't see it, mate. I can't see it, which is a shame. It's a big shame. Mark says, why do you think Kudus didn't celebrate his goal as he offered? Yeah, I'm not that bothered either, I'll be honest. If you would have said this to me last summer, when he was incredible, scored some amazing goals in Europa League, but now I don't think he wants to be there. I don't think we're getting the best out of him. And I just don't think it's going to work. He will go on. He will go on and be a really good player for someone else. He'll probably score loads of goals, and we'll be sitting there, you know, the typical on Twitter like we do, going, oh, he scored again, like when Duran was scoring. We've just got to get the right money, though. It has to be the right money. You know, I think Gio said it yesterday. It's, you know, bidding starts at 60, 65 million. But for me personally, I am praying that all the big teams sort out their stuff. You know, with Salastan at Liverpool now. Saka's the main man on that right-hand side for Arsenal. Man City got Mamouche. Maybe Chelsea potentially could look at him. I'm hoping Saudi come in for him. And big. Maybe not the 100 million, maybe not the 120 million, but maybe they come in and go, boom, 80 million, 85 million. It's a good sell. It's good for West Ham. But yeah, it's not quite worked out for him, sadly. What we saying? Where were we? Here we go. Patrick. I don't really understand the hate for Tobido. It's nice to see one of our defenders who can actually pass the ball. I actually think now he knows the pace of the Premier League. He's been asset. Yeah, mate, I like the guy. I also understand why people are nervous about him. But yeah, like I say, as I said earlier, it's hard to judge when you're next to Kilman and Mavropanos. Put a good, solid centre-back in there, and maybe it'll be, you know, easy for him to come out and do that stuff. Wolves, it was. Patrick, did you see his performance on Sunday? It was Tobido, yeah. Tobido hasn't looked fully fit all season, perhaps better next season. Yeah, probably that as well. He always looks like he's blowing, doesn't he, after about 60 minutes. And Darren says we need a Saudi bid. We do. A Saudi bid. Tobido position is amateurish. Yeah, that's what I picked up on. I thought he came out, he comes out like, whoa, and thinks he's going to win the ball. He looks amazing when he does it. When he don't do it, whoa. Tony Gale said it on commentary, didn't he? He goes, he's got to think about it. On defenders, actually, something I was going to mention on the video before you guys have helped me out really with the chat. Naifa Gerd is linked with Leverkusen, which is a very good thing for West Ham. He doesn't want to come back, apparently. He doesn't have any interest in playing for West Ham again. Fair enough. And there was another team, a Spanish team. I can't remember who it was. Not the team he plays for, because I think they can't afford him. But Leverkusen coming in, they're going to have money, because Wirtz is more than likely going to sign for Liverpool, which is a fantastic signing for them, top player. So they're going to have a bit of money. Rumours are that they may go in for Joe Bellingham and Naifa Gerd. You know, if we can get anywhere north of 25 million for a Gerd, I think that's great business for West Ham, and that will give us the money to go and buy another centre-back that we need. I would have liked him to have come back, personally. I think there is a good defender in there in a Gerd. But yeah, that is the news out there, that somebody wants him. Leverkusen are a good side. I think Jonathan Tah's leaving there. Their big, strong centre back that they've got, and they've got another guy called Anichebe. I think that's how you pronounce it. So yeah, I can see Harry fits in there. Champions League football, good team. Obviously a new manager as well, Xavi Alonso, who's gone to Real Madrid now. So yeah, keep your eyes on that one. Keep your eyes on that. He's always on the wrong side of the attack. Marseille, that was the other team. Yeah, thanks, Kirk, for that. Yeah, Marseille, the other team. I'll tell you what we should do with Marseille. If we're clever and he would like to come, I'd be going, okay, you can have a Gerd. We'll give you some cash, a Gerd for Shirky. Because that guy is top player. And would walk straight into our team, replace Paquetá, be the magic man that we need, Payet 2.0, maybe not as good as Dimi. I don't think there is it. There will be many that ever play for West Ham again for a long time that are as good as Dimi. But if Marseille want him and West Ham want Shirky, which was a rumour a little while ago, I would be using that to full effect to try and get Ryan Shirky to West Ham. Makes sense as buying or getting Tar for free. Yeah, I said Tar was going dinner. Thoughts on Sullivan's value? The club at 1 billion. Looks like he will never sell. Oh, it's frustrating, isn't it? It's just frustrating. Yeah, 1 billion. How? I don't know. We've got a training ground that's caravans. We've got a ground that we don't own. Where does £1 billion worth of assets come from? I don't know. Someone who's a lot more clever in finance would probably tell me that. I can't wait for the day they're gone. It's a shame that that guy Turkey Al Sheikh is looking at. I think he's looking at Southampton and Millwall. It's a shame that someone like that won't come in, because what he's done to boxing is incredible. He gets stuff done. He seems like a guy that gets things done. We want to fight, we'll put it on. We want the best versus the best, we'll put it on. And I think wherever that Turkey Al Sheikh ends up, if he does buy a football club, that club will be run fantastically. No expenses spared. We know we can't pump in millions and billions to players anymore. Those days are gone. But he will have fantastic training facilities, the best scouting, the best computer networking, the best teams around. He will sort stadiums out. And I think his interaction with fans, whatever club he goes to, will be brilliant. And that's what I want. Like I said, I work with a Newcastle guy. He might be watching now, Sam. He always says, with Amanda Staveley, when she came in, they got the fans. It's just things like that, little subtle things. I know Staveley's gone now, but they just got the club. They got the club. The Shearer statue was reinstated. The Shearer pub was renamed, and just all sit like the interaction with the fans. So look at on a smaller level, but for owner-wise, what you want for West Ham. Look at Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElroy at Wrexham. Yes, they're a smaller club. Yes, amazing journey, fantastic. But they get it. They get it. They're very, that they can walk into a pub. They can walk into a pub in Wrexham and be loved and liked. David Sullivan walked into a West Ham pub. Jesus Christ, that he'd make it out. And that's what I want. I want owners that get West Ham and want the best for the club, not best for their bank accounts, not best for their shareholders, best for the club. That's not winning trophies necessarily. That's not even necessarily, being super competitive all the time. It's, trying their best and always trying to improve to keep us there. That's what I want. Let me know what you guys think about that. Not that we should think of selling him, but what do you think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is worth? A hell of a lot of money to us, mate. Shirky plays for Lyon. Yeah, good point, Darren. I thought he played for Marseille. You know why I got that? It's because of Payet. Wan-Bissaka is probably worth, a good £35 million, £40 million right back. He's been fantastic. Doesn't Shirky play for Lyon? Yes, he does. Gutted. You're right, Dan. He plays for Lyon. Yeah, it's a shame, actually. Yeah, I thought he played for Marseille. I do apologise, guys. Sorry. Millwall are getting bought before us. I knew Wrexham was where you were heading, and I agree. Leicester also. Yeah, Leicester. Yeah, listen, Leicester, that owner that died, he was amazing. He was amazing. I think he used to do things where it was like a free beer every now and then for the team, for the fans, free sausage roll or something like that. Really had the fan engagement and fan interaction right. They did go. Listen, they lived the dream. They won the league. They played Champions League football. They won the FA Cup. Give me that right now. I'll die an happy man as a West Ham fan. That's maybe too much to ask for. You know, all the stars had to align for Leicester for that to happen. But I think under West Ham at the moment, one of the biggest problems is the dream. And Nick says it so well at Claret and Booths all the time. At the start, at the end of every season, you go, yeah, say it. We might win the FA Cup this year. We might get Champions League this year. But this season, I don't know how you guys feel. There's only a few of us here. This year, I'm dreading it. I'm not excited. I don't have hope that we're going to go on a cup run. I don't have hope that we're going to have one of those seasons where we get top 8 and we get back in the Conference League, Europa League, whatever. I think finishing 17th next year will be, thank God we were safe. I just don't see, I don't see that dream this year. I don't see that dream next season. What about you guys? I think it's been ripped out of us, that dream, that ability to dream. Because we have took a step backwards. We were there, we were there. And whenever we get to that point, whatever you want to call that point, that next level or whatever you want to say, when we win a trophy, go and buy it again. Go and really build the system. West Ham bringing a director of football. Oh, it didn't work. 1-2 windows. No, get rid of him. In hindsight, Fulkrug looks like an okay player. Yeah, and it's been ripped out of us. I wish Danny Dyer was a millionaire, and Ray Winston. We could have Ray Winston in there as well. Next year, hoping for a 12th finish. Anything better is a win. Yeah, mid-table obscurity and a cup run would be fantastic. I just don't want a relegation battle. I don't want it. It would just be laughing stock. Absolute laughing stock if we are, in that huge stadium in the Championship. Tottenham will be better. Manchester United, you would expect, I hope they're not better. I'd love to see them get relegated. But with West Ham, I don't know. I don't feel an urgency. I don't feel an urgency to improve. It's like a bit of denial. We have fallen behind our peers in the Prem. Sullivan is to blame completely. He is, mate. Patrick says, I'm completely nervous for next year. Darren wants to know how many people in the chat have renewed their season ticket. Michael Blees says, under Sullivan, we've got to a level to push on, but never do we seem to. We go backwards. Always seem to be January window. We retreat. Yeah, so many times, mate. The biggest one, there's two huge opportunities we've had in the last 10 years, two massive ones that stick out for me as opportunities. Maybe three. There's maybe three, right? There's a summer that we first moved to the London Stadium. We got back in Europe. Obviously, we went out to Astragugu, but this is before then. We was moving into a big stadium. No one knew about the issues and the problems then. We was heavily linked to Carlos Bacca and Lacazette. Didn't get who we wanted. Ended up with Gökhan Toure, Calafiore, who's the other geezer? Oh, who was the Argentinian striker? No, that is the Argentinian striker. Who's the Zaza, Simone Zaza, and Nordveit and people like that. That was such a huge opportunity. Such a huge one. Next one is the January where we finished in the Europa League spot. Bought in Jesse Lingard, who got us there, but maybe a striker as well. Would have got your Champions League football. And then after that, it was again investing during that Europa League campaign in that January, again, would have been a striker or maybe a midfielder to get us over the line and win us that Europa League, get us in the Champions League, would have kept Dex, would have been able to put us in the higher shopping window. And we missed it. We missed that opportunity, as we always do. What's this? Kirk says he gave up his season ticket last season. Actually won't go back until Sullivan sells. I think a lot of people are thinking that way, mate. I renew mine straight away, but only for the extra 3 points. Open to go Bournemouth away. I think a lot of people want to go Everton next year as well. See that new stadium as well. That's always nice to see a new stadium, isn't it? I always hope, but expectation is low with this manager. Watching us play with 3 central defenders, none of which I rate, sending our best player and replacing him with lesser players. Yeah. Sad times, mate. Sad times. What they need to do if they want to get us excited again is, as soon as that window opens, they need to bring in someone big, like someone to excite us. I don't know who that is. I can't name that name. You know, what they wanted, obviously, ideally would have been they'd go, look, Angel Gomez and Jonathan David have signed. It's not going to happen. So who's that next one? Who's that next striker on the list? Who's that next midfielder on the list that they can go and get and be like, there you go, this is to excite you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's worrying. It's very, very worrying. Any more comments, guys? I'm going to go for a little bit longer. Would you take Garnacho from Manu? Great player, but I think I can see him going like Barcelona or somewhere like that, or like an AC Milan, somewhere like that. Our away fans are still the best. Yeah, that's the hardcore though, isn't it? The singers, you know. I went a couple of away games last year. I went Tottenham away, which wasn't great at all. Yeah, I'm hoping to go a few more next season. Try and go some of the London ones. I ain't been to Stamford Bridge for a few years. I'd like to go back to there. Yeah, I do like the away games. The home games are just painful and draining. To be honest, the only time I go home games at the minute is if Paul's over from Belfast. You know, we usually arrange the weekend around that, and then that's the worst bit of the weekend. You know, seeing your best pal and, you know, having a drink and having some nice food and all that's the best bit. The football's actually the chore, which, you know, it shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the case. But yeah, we wait and see. Any more comments? Always said when a manager loses, away fans, he's a dead man walking. Yeah, definitely, mate. They're the real, not the real fans. I hate saying that word, real fans, because we're all real West Ham fans. But they're the hardcore. You know, they're the ones that will sing. You know, the ones that have more patience. Mark says, agreed, Michael. All right, guys, that's half an hour. That'll do for today. Thank you so much, guys, whoever has commented today. 23 of you, if you hit the like button before you go, appreciate that. And, you know, get us out there to your pals and stuff, get us up to 5k. Always great to meet you guys as well. Every now and then in Benfleet when I'm walking around, and where was I the other day? I was in Rayleigh the other day, and a guy come up to me, "Oh, you from the West Ham world, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, always lovely to meet you guys out there. So do come up to me and say hello if you see me. You know, it's nice to meet fellow West Ham fans. You know, we're a friendly bunch when we're in a good mood. Anyway, until next time, guys. Come on, you irons. Keep believing. Hit that like button for me. Does me a big favour. Let's go.